Moving to Tokyo for high school, Mitsumi says goodbye to her friends in a small prefecture in the countryside, receiving matching hairpins as a farewell gift from Fumi, her best friend. Mitsumi is satisfied with her appearance on her first day of school, and her aunt Nao, a transgender woman, guides her to the correct train station. After Mitsumi assures she'll be fine, she waits for the train and reflects on her aspirations for a significant life. Meanwhile, at West Tsubame High School, an announcement signals the imminent entrance ceremony. Tsukasa urges his friend Sasuke to hurry as he's late at the station, and Sasuke notices Mitsumi clung to a wall. The teacher instructs Tsukasa to attend the ceremony, feeling stressed when another student can't be reached. Mitsumi dreads her stressful commute until Sasuke approaches, offering to go to school together upon her begging for directions. The ceremony starts and Mitsumi panics about missing it as her family will worry, so Sasuke assures her that it's no big deal. She disagrees, so he suggests they run to school upon leaving the station. While running, Mitsumi feels ashamed, reflecting on her true self when she trips and removes her shoes to run faster, intriguing Sasuke. At school, Mitsumi's teacher Sakura assures she isn't late. Despite forgetting her script for a speech she's to say on stage, Mitsumi impresses everyone by reciting flawlessly before vomiting on Sakura afterward due to anxiety. Feeling embarrassed, she zones out in the classroom and she's already known as the barfing girl on her first day of school. She meets a seemingly nice girl but feels disliked until Sasuke, also in her class, arrives. Mitsumi finds herself attracted to his bubbly personality and looks along with the other girls in class. They exchange numbers and Mitsumi, gullible, shares Sasuke's number with the girl from earlier who introduces herself as Mika. Sakura arrives wearing new clothes as she introduces herself to the class, and they're given forms to fill out to introduce themselves tomorrow. At night, Mitsumi claims her day was great on the phone with Fumi. She shares the two friends she made, a pretty girl and a boy who helped her get to school, exciting Fumi about her potentially getting a boyfriend. Nao returns home and asks about the ceremony, which Mitsumi claims went well, and she shares her worry for Fumi before eating dinner. Meanwhile, Fumi gives Mitsumi's mum radishes and her siblings check up on Mitsumi. They laugh about her possibly getting lost at the station when their mother returns to give asparagus. Sasuke eats dinner out with his friends who share their first day experiences in school. He reveals being late, recalling how he ran with Mitsumi before suddenly heading out just as Chris observes he met a girl. Heading home, Sasuke plans to enjoy high school, while Mitsumi goes to bed after finishing all her homework in advance. However, she can't sleep thinking about her introduction until morning comes, and she fails to sleep. On the train, Nao advises Mitsumi to smile to ease her anxiety over her upcoming introduction. Mitsumi follows the advice until everything goes wrong when she jokes about being superior to everyone. Sasuke follows, aspiring to be Mitsumi's subordinate, which makes the class laugh while she's appreciative. Mitsumi is then surprised to learn his name is also read as her dog's name, Satonosuke. Later, she and Sasuke volunteer to be class representatives, and their closeness sparks romance rumors, leading Mika to scheme to separate them. During lunch, Mika invites the boys to karaoke, claiming Mitsumi is going to assure Sasuke attends. Another beautiful girl, Yuzuki, unexpectedly joins, and Mika warns Mitsumi not to take Sasuke's friendliness personally since he's only avoiding conflict with other girls. Mitsumi agrees but somehow feels hurt. At the karaoke, Mika insists Mitsumi pay later while Sasuke says otherwise elsewhere, but Mitsumi hesitates to trust him, recalling Mika's advice. Mika chats with her, and Mitsumi feels overwhelmed by the loud karaoke, her first time experiencing it. Outside the bathroom, she finds Yuzuki, who reveals Mika's mockery of her dialect and is using her to get closer to Sasuke. Having no idea, Mitsumi is shocked while Yuzuki suggests leaving together if she wants. She feels unaccustomed to Tokyo's environment and hesitates to rejoin her classmates when Fumi calls, sensing her discomfort with the hangout. They recall how they became friends despite Fumi initially disliking Mitsumi's scary demeanor in kindergarten. Mitsumi feels better after the call and returns to the room, impressing everyone with her sincere singing. She hopes to forge close friendships like with Fumi, and afterward, Yuzuki exchanges numbers with her before leaving, claiming she had fun because of Mitsumi. Sasuke leaves and Mika follows, attempting to get closer to him, until he suggests she relax, leaving her frustrated as he joins Mitsumi to go home together. Mitsumi accidentally calls him by their family dog's name because of his hair, which amuses him. So he lets her feel his hair, and they share a laugh and agree to use each other's first names. The next day, Koharu shows Mitsumi a hairpin she got after karaoke, wearing it like hers. Mitsumi compliments it before mentioning the clubs recruiting her. While Koharu plans to join the dance club, Sasuke arrives and addresses Mitsumi by her first name, surprising Koharu as Mika becomes jealous. During lunch, a student initially mistakes Yuzuki for Mitsumi before offering Mitsumi roses to join the drama club. However, Sasuke's intervention makes him quickly hand out flyers to everyone and leave. Later, Mitsumi attends the drama club's play and notices Sasuke there, unusually quiet. She asks about decision-making, and his answer shows his easygoing nature but underlying loneliness. Later, the drama club student recognizes Sosky as Kennedy, leading them to a private conversation. As Sosky also remembers him, he unexpectedly insults the boy's playwright skills before leaving. At home, Mitsumi shares her plans to join the student council for government experience instead of a club. As Mitsumi heads to the student council office, she imagines a future in government only to find Makoto already there who hesitates to enter despite needing to find a fitting community for herself. Mitsumi surprises her and Makoto mistakenly believes Mitsumi is the school's secret boss, especially with Yuzuki and Sosky nearby. Yuzuki leaves, amused by their interaction, and they enter the office only to find they don't recruit members. Still, they're offered tea by Yamamoto, the president, and Tokiko, the treasurer. Mitsumi lightens up finding they can join the Tsubame Society, their support team that helps organize events. She asks how they balance the council and his studies, but eventually worries upon learning the time constraints as she needs to get into Tokyo University. Still, Tokiko remains optimistic and shows her packed schedule per minute, making Mitsumi hopeful. Afterward, Mitsumi wishes to get to know Koharu more, but she realizes she was only able to exchange numbers before because someone else asked. So she requests to hang out after school while Koharu remains fearful of her demeanor. They head to Star Max and get the same drinks, and Mitsumi is delighted by the boba's unique flavor while Koharu flusters from Sosky's gaze. She asks if they'll join the student council, to which Mitsumi agrees while Sosky has second thoughts despite claiming he will to avoid joining the drama club. Koharu opens her confusion about them being close even though they're so different, so Sosky claims it's different for everyone and signals Mitsumi to exchange numbers, her thanking him in secret. Upon Yuzuki's texting about their experience at the council, Mitsumi takes a selfie to send to her, but it comes out blurred. Sosky sends it for laughs while Yuzuki sulks about not being invited, and after hanging out, Koharu smiles seeing their picture together. The next day, Nao observes Mitsumi's fashion sense and helps her choose a more suitable outfit. Mitsumi was invited by Koharu to watch a movie for an English assignment, but more classmates join in. At the meeting spot, Mitsumi admires Sosky's appearance, while Mika feels superior to her fashion only until Yuzuki arrives, stunning everyone with her simple beauty. Mika feels embarrassed for trying too hard, but Sosky unexpectedly compliments her, leaving her confused. During lunch, Yuzuki's interaction with Koharu becomes awkward, leading to a later apology from Yuzuki, who advises Koharu not to force herself into unwanted conversations. However, Koharu is only indifferent, thinking of others' opinions. Noticing their tension, Mitsumi plans to fix their relationship since she invited Yuzuki. In the cinema, she finds love for the mixed taste of caramel and salted popcorn, making Koharu and Yuzuki laugh. Because of this, Koharu texts Yuzuki about her feelings of wanting to get closer to her, and they all enjoy the movie. Afterward, the two are noticeably closer, and Mitsumi shares her liking to Shibuya with Sosky, while Mika is in denial of their romance. Seeing Sosky, Mitsumi feels hopeful of loving her new place. Walking to school, Mitsumi prepares for a wonderful day when Narumi approaches school to ask about a classmate. Mistaking his intent, she declines his past invitation to the drama club, making him feign frustration to enlist her help, showing her an old TV show featuring Sosky. While Mitsumi is stunned, he pleads for help in recruiting Sosky to the drama club. During a quiz, Mitsumi wonders if Sosky hid his acting past until time is up and her paper is still blank. She zones out the whole day until a volleyball accident in PE lands her in the clinic, feeling embarrassed for her excessive worry. Sosky appears outside and notices Mitsumi's unusual demeanor, so she shares her conversation with Narumi, where Sosky reveals he only acted to please his mother. Mitsumi then explains her goal to tackle depopulation by becoming a government official due to that problem being evident in her prefecture. Sosky admires her dedication since he failed to live people's expectations, so Mitsumi recalls the time Fumi helped ease her stress by taking her out to eat, and they promise to support each other the same way. Later, Mitsumi bluntly refuses to recruit Sosky for Narumi, also feeling a tingle in her pinky finger. After Golden Week, Mitsumi shares her enjoyable time exploring Tokyo with Nao. She's surprised to learn many students, including Yuzuki, lived abroad, making her seek study advice from Sakura. Sakura suggests approaching Tokiko, who's known for her discipline, so after Tokiko rejects the soccer club's financial request, Mitsumi approaches to accompany her with her duties in hopes of learning about discipline. Impressed by Tokiko's efficient, fast-paced work, Mitsumi wonders when she studies, which Tokiko reveals they should study during their commute to maximize time. After an errand, Tokiko panics when they miss the bus and have to wait 15 minutes for the next one until she's calmed by Mitsumi finding a cat. They return it to its owner and board the next bus, with Tokiko trying to catch up on her studies after losing 63 minutes. Once again, Mitsumi is distracted by Tokyo's view, making Tokiko eventually feel at ease before receiving an apology for getting distracted. At home, Mitsumi admires Takiko and brainstorms her wasted time. However, she can't recognize which activity wastes time. Meanwhile, Takiko dreams about crying after missing a bus and then following a cat onto the next bus where they enjoy the view. The next morning, Sasuke learns that Mitsumi slept late, making a time management schedule. When she greets Takiko, Takiko shortly sees her as the cat in her dreams as Mitsumi expresses gratitude for yesterday. So she advises Mitsumi to choose how to spend her time instead and not stress too much. The soccer club members return with evidence, becoming stunned by Takiko's calm demeanor. Afterwards, Sasuke agrees with her advice, adding that spending time doing things she's not fit for is also a waste of time, leaving Mitsumi defeated as he tries to comfort her. As students prepare for midterms, they also gear up for the sports class match. Koharu focuses solely on studying and plans to compete only in table tennis, while Sasuke advises Mitsumi to seek help from other girls for volleyball practice. So she approaches Mika for help, and Mika is mean until Sasuke arrives, making her act nicer. Later, Mitsumi feels exhausted as Sasuke asks for help with literature and offers to teach Mika math, leaving Mitsumi feeling victorious. Continuing volleyball training, Mitsumi hands the two snacks from Now as a thank you for their help. Mika only takes the drink to control her diet, suggesting they share with the boys, and she realizes Sasuke is genuinely nice. She feels envious of his acceptance of Mitsumi. Meanwhile, she's a try-hard for her image. Suddenly, Sasuke leaves them to do errands, so they return to the gym where third years are found despite the schedule being for first years. A third year bumps into Mika, causing her to stumble as Mitsumi confronts them only to get ignored. This reminds Mika of past mistreatment, adding the students to her soul revenge list containing everyone who's poorly treated her. Despite her scolding for talking back to seniors, Mitsumi only praises the senior who told them off, making Mika realize they're different as she mostly focuses on negative things. Yuzuki and Koharu join them, and Mika feels annoyed, thinking Mitsumi asked her for help instead of Yuzuki, who's skilled at volleyball, to irritate her. Turns out, Mitsumi chose Mika for her honesty despite her blunt manner. When Sasuke returns, he wishes Mika luck with training them. On the day of the class match, Yuzuki braids Koharu's hair while Mika styles Mitsumi's hair with clips. They celebrate upon winning the volleyball game, and Koharu dreads her poor performance in table tennis. During lunch, Mitsumi shares pickles with everyone, planning to give some to the boys. Meanwhile, the boys prepare for their basketball game, with Kento hopeful to find his true love in the gym. However, the girls only fawn for Sasuke as Mitsumi and the others arrive. During the game, girls praise anything Sasuke does while Mitsumi blushes to watch him, clinging onto the pickles she brought. Mika mistakes her mood for jealousy as she goes to Yuzuki to leave already, and Kento feels victorious after receiving a compliment from her. Sasuke notices them leave, and they encounter Narumi, who offers each of them rice balls he made for the soccer team. He wonders how lonely Sasuke feels due to his popularity, making Mitsumi ponder why he became friends with her. Later, they compete with talented first years, with Mitsumi gaining confidence upon recalling how Sasuke accepted everything about her. They eventually place second, and she rushes to the boys' basketball finals to give the pickles, leaving Mika slightly envious, the others observing her crush on Sasuke. They follow to the gym and cheer the boys, and Mika realizes Sasuke may feel complete with a girl like Mitsumi compared to others. Fumi shows Mitsumi the nice weather while it rains in Tokyo, and Mitsumi is shocked to learn Fumi has a crush on the tennis club. Mitsumi asks about love, which Fumi claims is fun but nerve-wracking. Walking to school, she feels that love is complicated and plans to ask Yuzuki and Koharu more about it. However, Mitsumi panics, remembering their exam grades will be announced. She makes it to 9th place, and Sasuke is absent due to a cold, so Mitsumi texts him worried, only to find that it was just an excuse for waking up late. Tsukasa reveals he was already like that since middle school, making the girls bombard him with questions about Sasuke's rumors. Mitsumi refuses to believe he's a bad boy when he suddenly arrives on a motorcycle, handing her a withdrawal notice without explanation as she wakes up, realizing everything was just a dream. At school, she finds Sasuke absent for 2 days already, worrying her until he arrives late due to a headache. He greets Mitsumi, who unexpectedly ignores him, but they're paired together when Sakura instructs them to staple papers. She clarifies she isn't mad, and Sasuke claims the rainy weather tires him and it isn't a big deal to skip school, making her scold him as people will think he's a player. Mitsumi stresses the importance of exams, but his dismissal causes her to hurry out, leaving him frustrated. At night, Mitsumi feels she crossed the line earlier and concludes that Sasuke might not have been mad while she was studying for exams. Meanwhile, Sasuke stays at Chris' house and shares his problem about accidentally hurting Mitsumi. He wonders if he prefers not hearing it from her since he's the nicest to her, but he refuses to open his feelings to her before leaving. The next morning, Mitsumi still hasn't slept, but she's hopeful to brightly greet Sasuke a good morning. However, when she greets him, her appearance makes her seem furious. but they manage to talk shortly about the weather. Mitsumi feels Sasuke is slightly distant, so she observes him throughout the day until Mika questions what happened. So Mitsumi, though obvious, feigns about a friend making things awkward with someone despite scolding with good intentions. Mika tells her not to apologize, leaving her confused as Yuzuki and Koharu join them. After class, Mitsumi reflects on why she scolded Sasuke and rushes to talk to him privately, where they both apologize. She pleads for him to show up at school because it's fun when he's there, and rushes off when Sasuke suddenly grabs her wrist. He shares how he wasn't as laid back in middle school and that none of the rumors about him being a player are true. They make up and Sasuke bursts out laughing at their middle school-like interaction, while Mitsumi finds her heart pounding to see his smile. Recalling how Fumi defined love, she sprints home and calls her, claiming that the feeling can also be felt in friendships. Everyone celebrates after finals while Mitsumi decides to forget her worries about Sasuke. Recently, she was nominated as the student council secretary while Tokiko became vice president as a second-year named Hiroto won the presidency. After their symposium, Narumi congratulates Mitsumi and Tokiko, who hurries away, still upset about losing the president role. Tokiko, initially the sole applicant for president, discovered Hiroto applied just before the deadline due to a soccer injury. Despite Mitsumi's disbelief, Mika and the others believed his popularity would give him an advantage, and eventually he won the role. Tokiko understands his dedication until they overhear him admitting he used the student council to avoid playing soccer for all of high school. Turns out he feels superior towards everyone, making Tokiko feel foolish for believing that her efforts will be rewarded. Later, Sasuke requests to accompany Mitsumi and Tokiko upon learning they'll be studying. Mitsumi's heart pounds for his request, and Narumi joins them shortly to show the first film he made in 5th grade when he still aspired to be a film director. Despite being embarrassed, Narumi showed his work so they could all share a laugh instead of the film being unwatched forever, and they all ended up having a great time. Tokiko shows Mitsumi the free time and breaks she added to her schedule after being inspired by the movie's fun vibe, and when Hiroto appears, she unexpectedly initiates a proper and bright introduction. The next day on the train, Neo claims summer vacation is coming and Mitsumi can't wait to return home to the prefecture. She hopes to bring her high school friends there someday, especially since Sasuke loves the beach and now becomes curious about her fondness of him. Mitsumi encounters Sasuke at the station, who just rejected giving his number to a girl, and she feels outshined by his popularity. She shares her plans of going to the zoo during a vacation to buy panda souvenirs for Fumi when more girls, unbeknownst to Sasuke, greet him, leaving her speechless. Turns out, many girls have been asking for Sasuke's number because they won't see him for a while during vacation. Kento calls it the pre-summer vacation popular kid rush as Sasuke arrives after rejecting his second year. Meanwhile, Mitsumi feels sympathy for the rejected girls, imagining how she might also get rejected by him. Mika doesn't expect to be invited by Mitsumi to a sleepover with Yuzuki and Koharu, and Yuzuki feels grateful for their friendship. After a meeting, Sasuke shows Mitsumi the clear dates she can choose from to visit the zoo, and Mika finds the two alone as he accepts Mitsumi's accidental invitation to go together. Mitsumi is speechless by his normal demeanor. Meanwhile, Mika heads outside and encounters an intimidating girl looking for Sasuke. Sasuke then rushes out to meet her, but when she arrives with Mika and meets Mitsumi, he drags her out of the school. Afterward, Mika and Mitsumi panic over realizing the girl is a famous model. To pick an outfit to go to the zoo with Sasuke, Mitsumi requests help from Nao, who assumes they're having a date. Angered upon imagining her dating a bad boy, Nao considers letting her go out with the ugly outfit she chooses. Remembering Sasuke's request to keep his friendship with model Ririka a secret, Mika doubts their relationship. She assumes Sasuke likes pretty women because of his friendship with Ririka. At the zoo, Mika wonders why Mitsumi is stalking them when Mitsumi's uncle suddenly appears, asking if she's her friend. As they enjoy the pandas and condors, Mika and Mitsumi's uncle follow them. Mika reveals Sasuke's popularity with girls but believes he's serious about Mitsumi, feigning disinterest with Sasuke. They follow Mitsumi and Sasuke onto the zoo's train, where Mitsumi feels lightheaded from the heat. So Sasuke suggests checking the gift shop and going home after, as they can go again next time, leaving her appreciative. Mika feels foolish for judging Sasuke to be a player, and later Mitsumi's uncle reveals herself as Nao and invites her to eat snacks. While Mitsumi buys souvenirs for Fumi and her family, Sasuke buys his 3-year-old brother a keychain. Outside, she gives him a matching panda keychain, which he observes the set is for couples. Leaving, Sasuke spots his brother's stuffed toy, making him realize he'd already gone there with their parents. So he gives the keychain he bought to Mitsumi, who insists on giving it to his brother. Meanwhile, Mika and Nao share the same hobbies. The next day, the girls have a sleepover at Mitsumi's place. Nao reminds Mitsumi to mention she's transgender to avoid shocking them before greeting them with snacks, Mika feeling awkward to see her again. After studying, Yuzuki and Mika talk about fashion, bursting into laughter when Mitsumi uses a term she learned from Nao. Yuzuki shares her gratefulness for choosing their school as she made good friends, unlike the ones before who'd always include her in relationship problems. She used to appear intimidating at school but feels comfortable with them now. Mika reflects on herself after seeing Yuzuki's admirable personality. Sasuke finds Tsukasa at summer school and is immediately approached by girls. Meanwhile, Nao instructs the girls to make curry for dinner as she's meeting a friend and Mika leaves for a family dinner. In the elevator, Nao observes how Mika lied about dinner to avoid hearing about Mitsumi and Sasuke and notices her updated fashion. However, her self-esteem is low, which reminds her of someone. So Nao urges Mika to return if she regrets leaving. At night, Sasuke rushes to meet Ririka when she texts him, and he asks why she's been acting weird lately. So she mentions her frustration about their scandal 4 years ago and how it'll be used on her when she makes a mistake. Heading home, they hold hands just like they did when they were little. The girls enjoy curry and different activities while Sasuke ponders alone in his room. Mitsumi packs her things and bids farewell to Nao to spend summer vacation at the prefecture. Leaving the airplane upon landing, she's amazed to see Iwakura's beautiful view again. Her family brightly greets her outside the airport, and at home, she hands out all the souvenirs she bought for them. Mitsumi then greets her grandma in the yard, who's cooking red rice to celebrate her return. When it's cooked, she sneaks in a taste, receiving a scolding from her brother, who's preparing the table with her sister. The family feasts on dinner, and everyone has a good night's rest. Late at night, Mitsumi and Fumi reunite to meet their middle school friends. Mitsumi loudly celebrates learning Fumi's crush is now her boyfriend, and she and her friends enjoy lighting fireworks. Later on, Fumi notices Mitsumi still uses her dialect, which she reveals being comfortable using in the city because her friends don't mock it. The next morning, Mitsumi sleeps, and instead of waking up right after grandma like before, and her mother advises letting her rest. Later on, sleepy Mitsumi greets her mother a good morning as she's given watermelon slices for breakfast. Just then, Fumi arrives to fetch her, making her rush to get ready and head outside despite just starting breakfast. Fumi, Mitsumi, and her siblings then run to the beach and spend the whole day enjoying the sea. Summer vacation ends as time passes, and Mitsumi greets her neighbor outside while walking to school. At school, she brightly greets Sasuke, who notices she's gotten darker because of the beach. They greet Narumi, who's preparing props for the school festival, so he shows Sasuke the script he made for the festival play to get his opinion. However, he's caught red-handed when Sasuke knows it's only his scheme to recruit him into the drama club again. Shortly after, Mitsumi reunites with the girls, and Mika bluntly gifts them food from a famous place. Mitsumi gifts them squid crackers and plans to give Sasuke too, but he leaves the room before she can approach him. Throughout the day, she notices how much her classmates have changed after the summer break, also observing how she and Sasuke have drifted apart. In the student council office, Hirohito and Tokiko claim they'll all be busy preparing for the festival. Mitsumi eventually becomes overwhelmed with excitement for the event when she finds Sasuke alone and rushes to give him squid crackers. She then shares with him her excitement for the festival, but eventually stops since he might not care, and she decides to act mature like him instead before parting ways. This makes Sasuke reflect on how he doesn't deserve anything, thus, Mitsumi striving so hard for her dreams makes him feel left behind. Suddenly, she returns with more crackers to cheer him up and feels hopeful to enjoy the rest of the school year. The next day, Mitsumi and Sasuke are stunned to find that their class will be hosting the festival play. Since the school is busy preparing for the festival, Mitsumi hasn't been present in most of the class play rehearsals of The Family Singers, the story of a family from decades ago. While Sasuke eats out with Chris, he shares his school's hard work in preparing for the festival. Chris is excited to discover Sasuke is part of their play's cast, but he only agrees since everyone expects him to. He then claims Sasuke will snap soon if he keeps pretending to be someone he's not. Still, he's more comfortable being distant from everyone to avoid having his acting career known and making things hard for Ririka. Outside, Chris recalls how Sasuke was always the happiest one before and advises him to just enjoy his life the way he wants. At school, Class 3 rehearses and prepares props for the play in which a nun named Lyra, a singer sent to the captain's manor as a tutor for breaking the rules. The captain struggles to face his children after losing his wife, and Amelia, his niece, will soon develop a romance with Johan, the gardener. Their rehearsal receives applause, while Mika feels envy for the girl playing Sasuke's love interest. She worries for Mitsumi but soon ignores it, while Mitsumi is only having fun with their preparations. Mitsumi then offers to help Asana with their play despite being sleepy from staying up late organizing pamphlets. She accidentally bumps into Sasuke, who notices her tiredness and suggests she rest, but Mitsumi insists she's fine because she's having fun. Unexpectedly, Sasuke recalls how his mother commended his hard work with acting. At night, Mitsumi works on voting ballots when Nao advises her not to overwork before sleeping. She eventually falls asleep and is unable to finish watching the rehearsal, making her apologize to Asana the next day. So Mitsumi watches the play during lunch and rushes to Asano in the courtyard, only to find them talking about her behind her back. Sasuke finds her resembling his younger self, so he offers to buy Mitsumi a drink to cheer her up. She compliments his acting in the rehearsal, but eventually cries remembering how he acted to make his mother happy, leaving him worried. Later, Mitsumi apologizes for letting him join the play despite knowing his past and cries again, realizing her selfishness for taking the task and not finishing it. Sasuke wonders how she'd handle being in the government if she cried over minor inconveniences, and he feels like she'd be happier with nature. He wants Mitsumi to stay the same and never gets hurt as she reflects on the couple's romance in their play. So Sasuke initiates his dance with Emilia in the play, which lightens Mitsumi's mood into wanting to return to Asano. Walking back, she claims to be skilled in resiliency, once again resembling Sasuke's younger self as she gives suggestions to Asano. The next day, the class celebrates Sasuke's birthday, and soon, the day of the festival finally comes. At school, the first day of the school festival starts greatly as many people visit the venue. Seeing Tokiko frustrated with Hiroto's laid-back demeanor, Mitsumi feels Tokiko desperately wants to be student council president. After Class 3 smoothly performs their play, Sasuke has fun while Mika looks for Nao as they become closer before leaving to join her friends who visited. Watching everyone enjoying themselves with friends, Mitsumi feels left out because Tokyo isn't her home. In the art room, Yuzuki beams with confidence toward her painting until a guy hits her up, making her change her demeanor. Turns out, multiple guys have been flirting with her since earlier, which made her irritated since they ignored her painting. Learning this, Mitsumi realizes everyone has their problems, and Koharu and her friends arrive with churros for Yuzuki and Mika. Koharu's friend's indifference towards Yuzuki makes Koharu list her good qualities to make them more comfortable, leaving Yuzuki appreciative. Shortly after, Mika rushes to eat her churros, and they briefly chat before returning to their duties. Yuzuki says their friendship feels long-lasting, making Mitsumi happy. Later, a middle school girl asks Tokiko to thank Hiroto for his kindness, and Mitsumi believes kindness always helps when Hiroto suggests they take a break. On the last day of the festival, Class 3 prepares to deliver their utmost service to ensure every visitor has fun. Before the dance club performs, Narumi commends Sasuke's performance in the play and converses with him only to find him preoccupied with girls who approach him. Narumi urges him to watch the drama club when Sasuke asks about his endgame, which he reveals wanting to make scriptwriting his livelihood as he can't live without it. Meanwhile, Sasuke's mom arrives at the school with his brother Kiri, who wanders off to watch the dance performance. They both realize they're apart, so Kiri asks around about Class 3's whereabouts since his mother is also going there. The students are surprised to see a child, but Mitsumi recognizes him from the keychain Sasuke bought at the zoo for his brother. They eventually panic discovering he's lost, so they all work together to reunite him with his mother. Meanwhile, Sasuke watches the drama club's play where Narumi receives many compliments afterward. Just then, Tsukasa informs Sasuke about his lost brother, making them hurry away. He's surprised to learn Kari was being chatty, and Tsukasa claims that kids are usually timid around people whom they sense don't like them. Turns out, Sasuke didn't know how to treat his stepbrother and used cram school as an excuse to stay away from home. He then calls his mother, who's asking for directions from Tokiko, and Mitsumi arrives to accompany her to Kari. They find Kari happy in the classroom, but upon seeing Sasuke, he bursts into tears and hugs him, making Sasuke realize they were only awkward towards each other the whole time. Their mother expresses gratitude for their help when she unexpectedly encounters Ririka in the hallway. Mitsumi admires Ririka's beauty but senses tension between her and Sasuke's mother as Chris calms Ririka. Ririka notices Sasuke's mother's disapproval of their friendship and asks whether she's forcing him to act again. Meanwhile, Sasuke and Kari bond while waiting when Sasuke's middle school classmates visit, eventually exposing his acting career when Ririka arrives despite his attempts to avoid the topic. His mother thanks him for finding Kari, and Mitsumi realizes Ririka's scheme to expose Sasuke's secret and distance his mother from him. Sasuke asks if Ririka said something to make Mitsumi leave, but her rambling makes Mitsumi unexpectedly interrupt and suggest Ririka line up for the performance. Sasuke laughs at Mitsumi's pose, making Ririka jealous and leave. Chris explains what happened with her and his mother earlier before following Ririka. Seeing this, Mitsumi longs for Sasuke's deep friendship with Ririka and Chris. During the play, Sasuke struggles to understand how to act for himself. All of his reflection about the personality he's built makes him realize how much he's limited himself. He remembers Mitsumi and eventually forgets his lines on stage. He apologizes afterward and follows Ririka outside, when she angrily leaves the theater. Chris compliments his acting, and Sasuke finally confronts Ririka about his desire to enjoy school life while still offering support as she moves on. Ririka becomes furious and refuses to see him again, but she ends up crying on her way home because she knows that the scandal was never Sasuke's fault. She followed him into a bar, then despite being told not to and lost her job, but she feels envy seeing him enjoy with other girls while not wanting to be with her. Rurika feels it isn't fair how she's busy while he enjoys his life, but Chris claims that guilt-tripping isn't right as Sasuke would have stayed with her anyway because he cares about her. Later on, the school festival comes to an end, with Hiroto thanking everyone for their hard work. He finds Takiko crying after the event due to mixed emotions she claims he'd never understand. So Hiroto shares how he never got to play soccer with his older siblings and promised to play only in his second year. However, he got injured and decided to join the student council instead, as he wanted to do something during his high school life. Hiroto apologizes to Takiko before leaving, and the event's awarding commences. Sasuke becomes slightly close to his classmates, and the girls celebrate the festival's end. They plan to have a sleepover at Yuzuki's place soon, and Mitsumi heads to a meeting for the event cleanup plan. Sasuke then offers to help her clean tomorrow and calls her again to say something. However, he changes his mind and bids farewell with a smile, making her blush as she observes his happier demeanor. Mitsumi, who once lived in the countryside, still aspires to be a government official, and she's happy to have found lovely people in Tokyo who make her life better.